Hello and welcome to our channel. Thank you so much for coming back if you are already a subscriber, and if you're new here, welcome. To show us support, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's get into the topic. If you have found your way to this video, it is probably because you think you might be going through what is often referred to as the dark night of the soul. You are looking for answers. You're confused and bewildered. You might even feel desperate, hopeless, and helpless. Well, to say that, I'm glad that you are here. You're in the right place. While there is some information out there about this spiritual journey, I personally don't think there is enough. Dark night sojourners need to hear from those of us who have survived the darkness and experienced a true awakening as a result. So what is the dark night of the soul? Understanding what you are going through will help you make sense of your current reality. You are not going crazy. Well, you kind of are, but in a good way. So we will talk about this later. I also want to give you hope. It does get better. Plus, I want to provide you with some crucial survival tips that might bring you some comfort along your journey. So, with that said, I ask you to proceed with an open mind. Things are about to get weird. Surviving the dark night of the soul changed my life. It was a true blessing, and I count myself among the few fortunate souls who have ever been gifted with this experience. So what is the dark night of the soul? This term comes from a poem written by Saint John of the Cross in the 1500s. Personally, I'm not a fan of the poem. Nevertheless, there is one line that speaks to me, which I believe explains the experience perfectly. I abandoned myself. The driving force behind this dark journey is what many mystics and religious scholars refer to as ego death. This death must happen so that your soul can be reawakened. In a sense, the darkness is a void or symbolic womb from which you will be reborn to a higher, more spiritually aligned consciousness, a new self. The dark night of the soul is equally as complicated as it is simplistic. It is a paradox in its truest form. You have to embrace the darkness to find the light. You have to die to self so you can truly live. You have to experience great loss so you can gain everything. You have to lose your way so that you can begin to walk your true path. You must abandon yourself to find yourself. What to expect during the dark night of the soul? During your journey between point A to point B, you will feel as though you have been abandoned by God. Even if you don't consider yourself a believer, you will feel a wretched emptiness that leaves you feeling as if you have been cut off from your own life force. This is what the darkness is all about. It is soul work in one of its purest forms. In the darkness, you will feel as if you are going absolutely insane. Everything you ever thought you knew about life will be called into question, and the very building blocks of who you are as a human being will tumble and fall. You will feel confused, bewildered, angry, desperate, helpless, and hopeless. Paradoxically, it is during this all-consuming space of cognitive dissonance that things will begin to make sense to you for the first time. It may be hard to understand, but while you are in the darkness, you don't have to do anything. It will be done unto you. No logical sense can be made of what happens during the dark night of the soul. It is the unfolding of a great infinite mystery that is imparted upon a chosen few. So how to know if you are going through the dark night of the soul? Many mistake this experience for clinical depression, and for good reason. The dark night of the soul reaches into the core of your being and fills you with an agonizing form of sadness. It seems to come out of nowhere, and it feels like it is never going to leave. It mimics all the symptoms of depression. You may be experiencing some of these symptoms. Extreme sadness with no explanation as to why you are sad, uncontrollable crying, a feeling of emptiness, loss of motivation in activities you once enjoyed, a loss of appetite, or a need to binge eat. Insomnia or sleeping too much, no desire for intimacy, increased use of drugs or alcohol, the need to withdraw from social relationships, and a desire to isolate, poor personal hygiene, irritability, and mood swings. Many people seek the help of a psychologist or a psychiatrist during this experience. They are wrongly diagnosed with depression and are usually given antidepressants. The thing is, the problem is not in your head, it is in your soul. Your situation is not the result of some kind of biological malady. It is happening because you are in the process of an incredibly painful spiritual transformation. Of course, everyone experiences the dark night of the soul differently. We all come to the darkness with our own unique set of circumstances that must be resolved. What was true for me may not be true for you. However, I hope that this list has helped you assess your current reality. Only you can come to terms with your situation and decide if, in fact, it is happening to you. If you do not feel that there is a strong spiritual aspect to your current condition, you may be suffering from depression. To be on the safe side, it never hurts to talk to a doctor to find out. The dark night of the soul is a spiritual transformational process that requires a spiritual solution. Depression, on the other hand, should be treated by a mental health care professional. Navigating the dark night of the soul, your survival guide. Now that you have a better understanding of the dark night of the soul, I want you to share a kind of a survival guide to help you along. Of course, I'm not sharing this information with you to lessen your pain. Strange as it may seem, the pain you are experiencing is actually a blessing, and I wouldn't want to rob you of that. Here are 7 omens that you might be going through a dark night of the soul. You feel a deep sense of sadness, which often verges on despair. You feel an acute sense of unworthiness. You have the constant feeling of being lost or condemned to a life of suffering or emptiness. You possess a painful feeling of powerlessness and hopelessness. Your will and self-control is weakened, making it difficult for you to act. You lack interest and find no joy in things that once excited you. You crave for the loss of something intangible, a longing for a distant place or to return home again. Why suffering is necessary. My desire to live is as intense as ever, and though my heart is broken, hearts are made to be broken. That is why God sends sorrow into the world. To me, suffering seems now a sacramental thing that makes those whom it touches holy. Any materialism in life coarsens the soul. Oscar Wilde, Letters. A true dark night of the soul leaves a long-lasting impact on you. It changes you completely. When you exit a dark night, you will discover that something is always taken away from you, for the better, such as your beliefs, your perception, your former meaning in life, or even, in rare cases, your ego. Have you ever seen a butterfly begin to emerge from its cocoon? It must struggle in order to strengthen its wings. If someone frees the butterfly from its cocoon prematurely, it won't be able to fly because its crucial tempering stage will not have occurred. The same is true for trees. Trees need wind in order to build their structural strength to stay upright. Your dark night of the soul is your wind, your cocoon. It is an ego death, whereby you shed the ego that prevents you from embodying your soul. The first advice is to educate yourself on the dark night of the soul. The more you know about the dark night of the soul, the better off you will be. Most people haven't heard about this ascent to higher consciousness. This is because most people do not have the privilege of ego death. They stay stuck in the lower vibrational energy field of everyday living. The second tip, surrender and trust the process. Most people hear the word surrender and associate the term with weakness. They think of a soldier surrendering to the enemy or an athlete surrendering to the opponent. Perhaps the most poignant definition of surrender is to give oneself over to something, such as an influence. It literally means to quit fighting. There is a peace in surrendering, a calm amidst the storm. Quite often, we fight the process of change to the point of exhaustion. That was today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something interesting. To learn more about this subject and other similar subjects, please visit these websites, and to show us support, give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.